Welcome back to Neverending DIY, guys. I came home today and my wife told me that the dehumidifier that sucks the moisture out of our basement was leaking water all over the floor. What a bummer. It wasn't going into the drain bucket, it was actually spilling out and coming out from underneath, which tells me that one of the drain holes was clogged up. This is a second one. I've actually got two of these units. One feeds my shop and the other one takes care of our basement. Normally all the condensate is supposed to drip into this bucket. When the float switch hits, it turns itself off. I empty it and then plug it back in and it starts to work again. Up under here, there's a weep hole and there's a weep hole. So this whole thing right here is a drain pan. When moist air comes into this dehumidifier, there's two coils in here. One is a hot coil, one is a cold coil. When the air hits the cold coil, it condenses. It pulls the moisture out of the air, drips down, and fills the bucket. And then that air then passes through the warm coil, and that's why the air that you fill up here always seems to be warmer than when it goes in, because it's hitting that hot air coil. This is no more than an air conditioner. The only difference is that second coil. So instead of getting cold air out the top, it's doing something called hot gas reheat. But you don't need to know that. Today I'm going to show you how to take this thing apart and get that nice and clean. In order to begin disassembling this, I've removed the bucket, and you'll notice that there's several screws here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in the front. I've got 2 screws in the side, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws in the back. And then if I turn it, there's obviously 2 more screws here. This operation is going to be exactly the same for any dehumidifier out there. What I want you to do is I want you to just remove all these screws, and that's going to give us access to everything. Pro tip on these wings, if you've got the Frigidaire just like I've got, it's held in the front by these tabs. So you're actually going to pull this out to get this past the base and then slide down, and then that will just come right off. So let's take a look at it completely disassembled and how nasty the other one is. So here's the same dehumidifier with all the white plastic removed. Look at how gross that coil is. Blech. Someone hadn't changed the filter in a while on the front or washed it out, so all that dirt was just getting piled up in there. And you can see it's like, it's not even just grime, it's like hard and nasty. Like I said, this thing's no more than just a regular old air conditioner. Here's your compressor, your refrigeration lines, your blower. And down here, we got water pooling and going where it's not supposed to go. I took the drain out, but if I stick my finger up in that drain, bleh, it's all nasty in there. So we're gonna clean it out really, really well. Those weep holes I mentioned are back in here. And so the water comes into this drip pan and then comes in and then just drips down and drip, drip, drip. But if I look up in this one and I touch that, it's wet. It's just clogged up. So I've got this stuff that we're gonna try. It's for my air conditioning system, but it's Frost King. I got this off of Amazon, air conditioning coil foam and cleaner. It's no different than an AC coil, folks. So we're gonna use this stuff. We'll read the directions on the back, clean the coil, spray it down, get my air compressor and spray out all the dirt and the dust and all the nasty, give it a good rinse. Make sure that I'm not getting any water inside of the electrical components box right here that's got the logic board and all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, don't go crazy with it. And let's see what it looks like when we get it cleaned up. It says spray it, but don't get any of the electrical wiring. We're gonna spray this stuff really good. This is a foaming cleaner, and it says what it's gonna do is it's gonna break down all that gunk and grime. I'm trying to work it in between the fins. Those are aluminum fins. So be gentle around them. I can already see it starting to break down all the crap back there, because look, our drain is even starting to free up. I haven't done a thing yet. Awesome. This has just been sitting here for about 10 minutes. So now I'm gonna take the hose and just very gently just try and put some water into it. I've got it all mist. I'm not trying to push that junk further in there. I want to rinse it down and out. I might need a little bit more pressure, but again, I don't want to push all that junk back and in there. I want to get it out of there. And so I've got that stuff building up on the bottom. This spray can came with this lovely little brush. going in the direction of the fins, so that way I don't bend them and it still gets good airflow in there. Look at this thing, so much better. Oh yeah. So my coil's nice and clean now, but now I need to get all the dirt and debris that's gotten stuck back in and behind. So this is a piece of trash that was laying around, but the end of this zip tie makes for a really good tool just to stick up in that hole. And look, all this stuff keeps coming out. So what I'm doing is I'm flooding this drip pan right here, pushing everything back to the weep holes, and everything, I mean, it should really be flowing out of there, but it's not. So we're just gonna take our little trash piece and jiggle it around. And look, oh. And I'm just gonna do that over and over and over until everything's clean. We've cleaned the coil, now we're gonna clean the drip pan and make sure we're getting both sides without getting the electrical part too wet. All right, my friends, I'm completely done washing everything out. I know I've got my drip pan nice and clean. I've got good rates of flow on both sides. So we're done. I'm not going to put this back together because, you know, the old saying, water and electricity don't mix. That's true. Water and electricity don't mix when the electricity is on. So I'm going to let this thing just air dry completely by itself, because I can guarantee that a little bit of water got into our high voltage panel right here. High voltage, you know, being 120 volts, nothing to write home about. But we're just going to let her air dry, and then tomorrow I'll go ahead and put her back together, and I can guarantee she's going to be running like new. So again, this was a process that you can follow on any dehumidifier. Just take your plastic off, clean your coil, make sure it's nice and clean. Your weep holes, those were clogged up on mine. That's what caused it to leak. So you don't need a new one. You just need a screwdriver. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe to the video. There's plenty more to come.